Hi there. Welcome to a repeat. It's not a repeat, it's a redo. I accidentally deleted the second episode, so I'm redoing it. This is the second episode, and what we're going to be covering is a few things. One is how to delete your core or reset your core. This is kind of like a web dev thing, but that's might be of interest to some people. And then we're going to continue with the Lisp overview. Actually, what we're going to do first before that is show you how to make a to-do list in Skynet. And then, yeah, so that's going to be this episode. So first off, how to delete your core. If you don't know how to get up developer tools, press F12. You find your all the data stored by Skynet is under resources, local storage, right here. So this is our core here, and it's easy to delete it. Of course, don't do this without realizing that you've just deleted everything that you put into Skynet. But it's easy. Just hit delete, hit refresh, and you've got a brand new clean Lisp machine. This is mostly just a bit of knowledge of the internals. Typically, actually, why you'd use this information would be when you have a core. So let's get a core in there. Remember to clear your screen. Okay, so as we see here, we now have a core. One reason you might want to also come in here is to back up your core. I'm not sure if you can do that directly within the local storage. You could probably do it from the JavaScript command line. But another way is just to copy the text of the core somewhere. And yeah. So there's some maintenance and internals for Skynet at the moment. Let's move on. So the next thing I was going to do was show you how to do a to-do list. Bit of Lisp programming and data structure usage. So we're going to start by defining a variable called to-do, and we're going to make it the empty list. So there's nothing to do right now. Now what we'd like to do is make it easy. So make it easy to add things to the to-do list. So what I would like to write is a function like that, so that I can then store something inside of to-do. Luckily enough, I'm going to show you how to write that function, but I'm not going to explain everything about it. I'm just going to write it here, and I'm going to explain more of that stuff later. But basically that's the code that we want, so we're going to write a function to make that happen, and I'm just going to show you that here. So this here is the code for push. It's actually a macro. And I encourage you to follow along. Type in this stuff as you go along so that your core matches mine and we all kind of build a Lisp together, I guess. That'd be kind of cool. So this is the code. Type it in. And if you feel like it, following along. So now we have a macro called push. Actually, we need to evaluate it. Now we have a macro called push. Now what do we have to do? I remember from the first episode, there was actually something that I added that you don't know why. Fix cont onto to-do. So So now we have something into there. There was also an issue with EQ. So we're going to add that as well. Oops. So now we can, whenever we reload, check our to-do list and go from there. So that's an easy way to create a to-do list that you can manage. That we're going to end up doing quite a bit of management on later, using various list functions that we're going to write as we get more requirements. And the best way to get requirements on a system is to actually use it. So that's something there. So we wrote push. Sorry, let me check my notes. Okay, and the last part was a continuation of the Lisp overview. Let's see what we've covered last time. Covered quote, set, cons, car, cooter. I was going to cover cond, but unfortunately it doesn't work right now, and we'll fix that later like we just did in the to-do. So now we're going to cover EQ. EQ is equality. We won't worry about that. That's what it was. Okay, so we're going to have some fixing EQ excitement. So as you can see, I just tried to... oh, I know what's going on. Never mind. Okay, so since we covered... covered deleting cores online, I didn't want to delete my entire core on my working set. We're going to do a bit of a time warp to the future, where I have more stuff in my core than you've actually seen, because I haven't published that episode yet. But we're going to cover EQ right now, because EQ actually works over here, and I'm not going to bother showing you how I fixed it, because that was the will of my computer. Okay, so EQ we're covering. So EQ is equality, EQ11 is true, EQTT is true, and EQ quote X is true. EQ quote X quote Y is not true. So one thing you might notice is that there's true and false. In Lisp, or in this Lisp at least, false is the empty list and true is anything else. So that's something to remember when it comes to logic in Lisp. False is the empty list, and true is anything else. Any other symbol, any other number, any other list. So that covers EQ. Cond will be covered in a later episode, because I have to fix it first, and we'll probably cover it and fix it at the same time. But I think that's all I had to make sure I had to cover in this repeat of a deleted episode. So we're going to cut this one short, and yeah, hopefully we'll never delete another episode again by accident.